Alright guys, Papa Pepper back once again. Today I'm chilling with the A-Team. They have this incubator that their family has been using for 4 generations now. This is like the incubator of the ancients. And they actually were able to hatch out some of the eggs that Jeff gave them when they came down to Bobblehead Homestead to help move that food for us. Interesting thing enough, I had just a green plain t-shirt on today. I happened to switch to this one. He happened to be wearing one that I gave you guys last February, right? Yep. Yeah, last February when we went up to Michigan to visit them. So we actually wound up having our Bobblehead Homestead shirts on anyway, even though we didn't plan this. And we're going to talk a little bit about this incubator, talk a little bit about the chicks they were able to hatch, and then show you something pretty cool about this coop they got behind us here. So tell me a little bit about this. This is a galvanized incubator.
Yep.
And it was your...
It was my mom's dad's, my grandfather's.
So his grandfather probably bought this new and used it, then your dad used it.
Yep.
Then he used it, and now his children are using it.
Yep, so now the 4th generation of the incubator, and it's still working well. No turner or anything, just have to do it all by hand twice a day.
Okay, so water goes in here, it's got the screen.
Yep. Water reservoir, screen for the eggs, and just put a thermometer in to make sure the thermostat's working.
Okay, and then there's the heater, and
yep.
And you see that little observation window they got there.
Yep,
so
it's the only spot to see.
Wow. And no idea how old this is, just guesses.
No, not exactly. I've seen different ones. They made them for quite a while, like in the 50s, 60s, and I think even later than that for a while. But
wow, so it could be like a 60-year-old incubator. So there's a number of different chicks here. Some of these are going to be meat birds, and then some of these, are those chipmunks in back? Ones from Bobblehead? Some striped ones? Cool. So originally, Jeff had given you guys, what, 18 eggs?
Yeah.
How many of them were copper Moran?
None.
None.
Well,
how many?
6 of them.
6 of them were copper Moran eggs, but again, they were pullet eggs that had just kind of started laying. So none of those actually hatched, and then out of the other dozen, you had 10 that hatched and 1 died, right?
2 died.
2 died, okay. So they still have 8 of them, and they were actually doing a comparison too with the incubator that they had here, and then a newer one, and you guys said the old one.
Yeah, it was better.
Way outperformed the other one. So here's some of these chicks. Where's the one that's part copper? Under there?
in that silver one, dude. There's another one too that's white,
okay.
mostly white from Jeff.
Okay.
That's also part Moran.
This one we believe is part Moran.
Okay. So with some of the ones over there being mixed, I think a couple of these are part Moran. The one that we had to begin with has some furry little feet too, but it came out of a green egg, you said, right?
Yeah, this one as well came out of a green egg.
Okay, cool. Wow, that's so quick.
This one is purebred white and true blue.
Okay, purebred white and true blue here. That is beautiful. And I love those little ones too. I mean, the chipmunk looking ones just remind me of quail because they're kind of similar color and similar size. Of course, these will grow out of it. And then too, last February, I went up and helped do a little bit of work on their house so they could sell that in Michigan and move out of there. I know your dad had mentioned that you guys were Bobblehead Homestead fans, so the two older boys of the family. How long you guys think you've been watching Jeff?
Year and a half.
Year and a half, 2 years. And I know it's kind of one of those things too, like they're like, if we do wind up down there and we do get chickens, like how awesome would that be to get some of Jeff's, right?
Yeah.
How cool is it?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, just to and to help people is something we like to do anyway. Interact with others, be a blessing, you know, give more than you take. But when they just wanted to meet Jeff, hang out, help move his food forest, and a lot of plant information, so they, you know, did a good job with a lot of it. And then Jeff, just as a blessing, sent them home with a good pile of good pile of chicken eggs, and now they have some from Bobblehead Homestead, so super cool. Look at that little one. Can you hold up that baby there? What's that one?
It's from our chickens. It is half Marron, half Rhode Island White.
Okay, so half Rhode Island White, half Marron, and that's from your chickens. How old is that?
A week.
A week? Wow, look at that, guys. That's one thing too, is when you can turn over opportunities for children to garden and to have animals, especially animals that provide milk or meat or eggs. It's such a good thing to pass on to that next generation, and they get the joy from this, but then also the reward of eating the eggs or, you know, eating the meat and stuff like that. So it's good to be connected to the real world. Nice.
You have your ones from last night, Gabe.
One of our ones that looked like a chipmunk, it was black and white, so I named it Skunk.
Oh, that'd be cool.
This one was born last night.
Wow, that hatched last night, guys. Look at how cute they are. You can tell it could just fit in an egg, you know, yesterday, and it's already stretching out, puffing up, and getting bigger. That is so cool. And then your meat birds are Cornish cross, or?
Yeah.
And these meat birds here are going to be ones just like we did last year. These are Cornish cross. They're raising up some for themselves and for another family. So they're probably going to have a butchering party with both families together when they get bigger. We had some pretty crazy ones as far as how big they got. It's amazing. And this is one of the popular breeds, the Cornish cross, for raising up your own meat birds, and what a lot of the kind of industry providers for chickens use as well. So you can see the difference just in coloration and how different they all look. I see why Jeff calls those little ones chipmunks too. I love those stripes on them. So here's a cool thing too. If you look here, you'll notice this is not a cattle panel hoop house one. If you look at, you know, some of the ones at Jeff's, you're gonna see they look very similar to this. But what these guys did, what'd you do?
Harvested some bamboo.
So it's bamboo, guys. So they got bamboo bent over, running from each side with some 2x4s. And then they had this old wire that they took down from their old place. And it was kind of beat up, not the best, but, you know, free, because they already had it. It was a resource they already had. So they just kind of zip tied it to here, ran some bamboo across for support, and then just put a tarp over it, which I love creativity like that. That's genius, you know, as far as I'm concerned. That's cool. So if you guys can't afford, you know, $20 to $24 cattle panels, but you got some bamboo growing somewhere, that stuff, you know, it grows back really quickly. This is another way to do the same thing. You know, very similar looking, but a way to have it be a little more cost effective or something like that. So
Might be able to get willow up north if you don't have bamboo. That's
a good point. If you guys have access to willow or something else, or an actual, you know, tree rather than a grass like bamboo that can bend easily, another way you can creatively think outside the box and wind up with kind of a very similar result, but more financially beneficial when you can cut costs and save money on it. So check this out. What were you just sharing?
So these all came from Jeff, the two chipmunks that are different toned, and this mostly white one and the black one. And some of these chipmunk ones, though, they started day 20, early on in day 20. And the black one, he didn't hatch till day 24. So
that's kind of, because normally 21 days is the hatch time that people look for on chickens. You're going to go with, I think, 28 for ducks, but they let some of them run till day 24, and that's kind of part of not giving up on something. They get a whole nother chicken just because they let some run, you know, an extra 3 days. And that's one thing too about this. A lot of people would see this, they'd think it was old, they'd think it was trash, they wouldn't even give it an opportunity. He didn't know if it was still going to work. It had been a bit before since they used it last, and then bringing it all the way down here too, probably another 750 miles or 800 or something, you know, so it's been traveled. But he says, I'm going to give it a chance. So they gave it a chance and it worked. And if you guys ever see one of these at a garage sale, maybe up in an attic, an old storage shed or something else like that, now you know what this is. This is a galvanized, you know, incubator. This is how some people used to make some of them. So if you see one, you might want to give it a try, see if it still works. Here's a good pile of the chicks that they actually hatched. And what'd you guys want to say?
Thank you for the chicks.
Thank you, Jeff. The boys are very pleased with the birds.
Yeah, so we'll see if we get a chance to hang out with Jeff again. But for now, you know, this lives on. So thanks much, Jeff. This was cool. I never seen one like this in my life. We did a little bit of research online about it, but couldn't even really pinpoint exactly how old this is. But 4 generations, it's still working, still hatching, and now they've got them some bobblehead chickens to go with the t-shirt. Papa out.
Thank you for watching.